With the weather stations, we have three parts of three steps that we go with the weather station. First of all, we do the site survey. Then, after site survey, we do the construction of the site. Then we do the installation. After the installation, all the steps that follow is maintenance. So I will go step by step a bit of site survey, and if you are talking with the meteorological department, then they are so aware of that, and if they agree on a site, they will give you a site that is really representative. So
Sure, sure.
uh, let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, yeah, I can see.
Okay. Yeah. So I just prepared a few documents here, which I will also share with you.
That's great.
So we have a checklist when doing site survey. This also helps us to keep in touch with the people on site beyond just installation. So this is just basic information that we'll want to have when you do the installation, before when you're doing survey, uh, so that you keep in touch with the ground people and the contact people there. So
Mm, mm.
this is just a form that is like self-explanatory. You will fill it. I will send it to you so that you can be counter checking when you're doing the site survey. But the basic things are just site names, site contact information, uh, the latitude, longitudes, and all those things, including making sure that the site is very representative. And like I said, if you're talking with the meteorological department, then they will give you a site that is really representative, no shed, no obstacles, and security features.
Okay.
So those are just basic information. So after you are so satisfied that this site is very representative and qualifies to be a, a weather station site, then on uh, you embark on preparing of the site. So usually we take security very very keenly. You might want to put there a small fence, uh, sometimes just a simple fence that will ensure security of the fence, and this is the plan. uh, I don't know if the meteorological department have a fence around there where they're going to give you, but if they have, if you're going to install among their instruments, then probably I'm assuming there is security, and they can also allow you to install it where the fence is. So maybe
Mm,
you can check with that in the part of the site survey. But a standard fencing that we have is this kind of a plan: a 3 meter by 3 meter fence, and you can use chain link, uh, uh, mesh wire. Then the height of the fence can be between 1 meter and 2 meters. You can use metallic posts, or you can use cedar posts, just to ensure that it doesn't uh, rot, so to keep the fence for a long time. So that is the information about the fence, and the gate should also be lockable. Then on the middle of the fence is now where we install the the station. So you will need a pole, uh,
mm,
which is in total is 2.2 meters, but the one that goes to the ground is 0.5 meters,
mhm.
and the one that is above the ground is 1.7 meters. Then I think in the package you have a connecting pipe, that
Yes,
plastic
yes,
connecting pipe,
definitely.
yeah, that is about a foot, so that when you add on top of this middle pole, it gives you about 2 meters. So from the ground up is 2 meters when you put the connecting pipe, and from the ground downwards you operate with something like um, 0.5 meters or something there to make sure that it's firm enough. Yeah, so that is the design. I will also send this to make it easy for you. After you construct the fence, we have something of this kind.
Mm-hmm.
If you use metal, it will look like this. Then the middle pole is there where we install the weather station. So this is how it looks. You can also use cedar, depending on your choice and the budget. But we recommend that eventually, after you complete it, then it's very like it can really keep the weather station safe for a long time. So the sustainability of the station is also very important. So I also send this photo for you to imitate. So we have an installation manual.
Sorry, Victor.
Yes.
But the fence on that one looks high as well. Is that not a problem, or is still okay?
Uh, for this one, it's just the positioning of the like the camera person.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, but it's high. So when you add the sensor should be a little bit higher than this level of the fence. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So so this is the installation manual of which I will also send you, and it just begins with the things we've talked about, the 3 meter by 3 meter fence, like that. And this is also another one of how the fence looks, and another alternative when a simpler one, how the fence will look like if you decide to go that direction. So, and some of the things that you need to look at now is the sensor, because we want this sensor to really to be fixed and to ensure that its positioning is really good enough to ensure that the sensor reads good information. And when you look at the sensor keenly, we have we have the sensor which has a U bolt that is used to tie the sensor to the pole, to the middle pole. So which means that U bolt also guides you on the type of the middle pole that we'll use. So in our case, the middle pole diameter is usually 5 centimeters or 2 inches. That is the exterior diameter. But when you look at it, the interior diameter is about 1.5 inches. So when you go to shop for it, make sure that because you can eventually install it and you find that the U-bolt does not fit. So this is something also that is very important to check. You should also ensure during construction that it's very leveled, because leveling is very important for us, to ensure that, because eventually the sensor should be so much leveled for it to capture the precipitation well.
Yeah.
So this, when you after you install the middle pole, just check so surely that it is leveled using a water level like this. Yeah. So and this is the type of this is a bit different. This is a EM60G data logger, but the one you've received, I'm assuming, is the ZL6, right?
Yeah, I think it looks like the one on the right there.
Yeah. So this is the sensor, this is the data logger. So this is the U-bolt I've been talking about. So after you take it from the box, you put on the top of that pole and make sure that it's very level. There's a leveling, water level. I'll take a photo and send you somewhere below here, that make sure the sensor is leveled. Then you put on top of that bolt. So the inside of this logger looks like this. So you put all the batteries, then it switches
Mm-hmm.
on the data logger. Then this cable you are seeing here,
Yeah.
goes into one of these ports. So you can just, but we start with port one. So you just put it into port one.
Yeah.
So it is a plug and play type of a logger. When you put just the sensor, it picks up and starts reading.
Mm-hmm.
So you tie the you tie this sensor on top of the pole. Then using the zip ties that is also in the package, you tie this data logger to the pole also, but a little bit lower than the sensor on the side. Then you plug in the the sensor to port one. We start with port one.
Okay.
So that's how easily you can do the installation. Then make sure when you are renting, this one faces through this icon, the north icon, faces the true north.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is a wind calibration just to make sure that the wind is read properly. So this one needs to face north, and it should be very well leveled.
Mm.
So after that, we have now a software that we connect to a computer, which I will send you in
Yeah.
order to do the settings. It's called the Zentra utility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let it just open. The Zentra utility. This is now a software that we use to communicate with the data logger and do
Mm-hmm.
the settings according to how we want it done. So the Zentra utility looks like this. I have a small weather station here that I've just connected. That's why you see the EM60 data logger here somewhere. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you just take a USB cable. You take just a normal USB cable, and I know you have another one is packed with what you have.
Uh-huh.
So you plug into the like you see my cursor.
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, there's a USB cable. Then
Mm-hmm.
that's the end. Then the other end you put it into the laptop.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So after you do that, you now open the software like this. Then after you open the software, you will see that a data logger has been discovered.
Uh-huh.
So you just press connect. Let me do it again. Yeah. Yes. So after you connect, then you see all these readings. The sensor is the atmosphere one, and you see all these readings.
Uh-huh.
So what you can from here you can do a lot of things. So you can go to settings. uh, yeah, so from the settings it gives you like this. It opens another window, the device information, the sensor configuration here, then
Mm-hmm.
communication settings, and the GPS location.
Mm-hmm.
So from the device information, it gives you the serial number. Like in this case, I'm using this one of mine is 349. Its name, it was installed in Longisa High School. You can change the name to what you want. And like,
Uh-huh.
for example, University of Botswana, and these ones, you cannot do anything about this because these are within the ones in the logger inside, so you can't change them. But from here, you can also know the firmware version of which that is in the maintenance stage. I will show you that a bit later. Yeah, so this is the firmware version, which is also very important. So these are the basic details that you need to know. Then we have sensor configuration. So this is now about the Atmos, the one that is making the readings. So we
Mm.
have port one, port two, port three, port four, port five, port six. But in this case, we said we are putting it in port one.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so you see port one is selected, and the name of the sensor is the Atmos port one all weather.
Mm-hmm.
Then it gives you all this information like the serial number, and the relative humidity sensor also has a serial number.
Mm-hmm.
Then the firmware version is 5.27. For now, we are at 5.33, but I will show you how to update that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's not a worry. So you just confirm all those things. Then there's also a communication settings tab. You can play around with this. You can you can choose one data upload per hour, which is default. This is our default. Then we have four data uploads per hour, and we also have four data uploads per hour between the time that you want, like that. So depending on where you are and how you want the information to come in, sometimes we play around with this depending on how the station is consuming battery. So if it's consuming a lot of power, then we reduce the number of upload frequencies. So there's something you can
So what
decide.
what's that 1 and 4? Is it to do with the parameters or what?
No, this data, this logger sends information to the server.
Mhm.
So you set how after how long do you want the information sent to the server?
Yes, yes, yes. That I got it.
Yeah, you get it, sir. Yeah. So you can also, like in this chart here, you can deactivate the hours. Like for example, you don't want it to send from 6 to 7. You just deactivate or activate. So these are
Okay.
just adjustable like that.
Mhm.
Then we have things like the SIM number. The SIM card is always in the data logger, so you don't have to worry about that. We have the APN settings. The APN setting is always goes with the type of the SIM card that is in the data logger. That one is we are using the Iris SIM card, so this is the APN. I will send it to you and also show you how to change it. Then
Okay.
the name of the server is the tamo.centracloud.com. So these are the things also very important, and I will also show you how to do them. And this is the GPS location. Automatically, when it sends data and you give it sometime like 1 hour, it now brings the metadata of the exact point of where the station is.
Mhm.
So you can always pick this information and save it somewhere, or you can get it from the data that you receive in the server.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that you can quickly do, and uh, we have the test button. Now, this one helps you to test the transmission between the data logger and the server. Like in this case, between my logger, which is 349, to the server, which is tamo.zentracloud.com. So you see, click the test
Mm.
button to test the cellular connection and data transfer between my logger and the server. So you can
Mhm.
test just to make sure that you receive this information in the server, because it's very important that you receive information regularly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it will after it completes it will give you the strength and the network status of that area. So like in this case, in my area, the signal strength is 87% and the carrier is Safaricom. Yeah, and quality is very good. So this is also very important, because if the network is bad, or uh, because we really want this information to get to the server. So that's the way that way you can monitor the type of information, and you can also know if the station has issues or is becoming faulty by the information that is coming in. So regular reports from the station is very important. But usually
Okay.
our station.
Let me ask you about the network.
Yes.
When you say the network,
Mhm.
does it come with inbuilt or I've got to use a local SIM card?
uh, in some countries we use the local SIM cards,
Mhm.
but we have a standard SIM card that we use is called Iris, which usually just fits into the network that is provided in that country.
Mhm.
So I will check the list and see what we have for Botswana. Then we can advise if we can use the local SIM card or we can use the SIM card that comes with the data log.
I see.
So that should not be a problem. But 2G network should work. 2G, 3G network should work. So that will not really be a problem.
Mhm.
Yeah. So those are basic things that we'll just set from the site. And you see, like this one is port one, like I showed you. There's also
Mhm.
port two, port three, and up to port five. So if you have another type of sensor that is compatible with our data logger, you can just add it and use the same logger to receive information.
Mhm.
Yeah. So these are the basic things when it comes to installation. So anything else beyond here, we call it maintenance.
mm,
Like we can do the firmware upgrade. We can change, for example, the APN, and we can do some commands to ensure that this logger fits into the, like it sends information very well and frequently, and also we are able to monitor it in a way that can help us make decisions on how we should go about with the weather stations. So
okay.
yeah, so up to this point, that is the installation part. I will send all this information in a way that you will understand properly and you can
Mm,
go
mm,
through it. And also at the day of the installation, I can be standby just to make sure
so
that
that
we go with you. I know it's something that will take very little time. Or we can also just uh, set it in the house, like we do it with you in the house. You connect the batteries, we
mm,
do all the settings, then
mm.
you remove the batteries so that when you go to the site, you just install it properly and put the batteries in,
I
and
see.
it starts
Yeah.
reporting.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So this is the installation part. I don't know if you have any question up to that point.
No, I think so far is fine.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think because we have connected to port one, like in this case, right?
Yes,
Yeah. And then the assumption here is that the okay, after the installation, maybe that's the next part because it's about the transmission now when it is on the field
to the
to the
server.
sun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So